Artificial intelligence, machine learning, robots, cobots, ChatGPT. These are some new phenomenon and terminology that are making the rounds today, especially for those who are in touch with information technology and what have you. And they're beginning to define our world, in ways that we erstwhile could not imagine. They said that the first industrial revolution was powered by the steam engine. The second was powered by electricity. The third by the internet, the World Wide Web, which connected everybody together. We're certainly in another industrial revolution today. Some would say fourth, fifth, sixth, but what's the thread that runs through each of these new industrial revolution is the power of the computer, robots, things that we're building ourselves that can have much capacity in redefining the world. Where does Nigeria stand in all this? In fact, where does Africa stand in all of this? How do we begin to understand what all of this mean and where they're going? Is there any role, for example, for government, for regulation? Are we going to end up building, robots and machines that take over the world and leave us all vulnerable? Are we going to make a mistake and create things that would destroy the world? Well, before we begin to go too far, we are joined today by Mr. Odudu Otu, an entrepreneur, a startup entrepreneur, and also an IT specialist to discuss some of these issues. You're welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here, Dr.
Right.
Tope.
So, I'm also still a novice, but I'm learning some of these things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, ChatGPT, we're going to discuss that today, robot. I also came across one new terminology called cobot. And I think that's the one that talks about the collaboration between the human being and the robot.
Yes,
there's a co-robot.
That's what builds transhumanism.
Exactly. So where do you think all of this is going?
I think one of the major ideals of man is to supersede its present state. Yes, and most tech enthusiasts, they are working towards achieving the age of singularity.
What do you mean singularity?
Yeah,
Break it down for the common man like me to understand.
The age of singularity is an hypothetical framework whereby we see machines advancing towards an intelligence model that is beyond the capacity of human computation.
Yeah.
So it now sees machines doing tasks way better than humans can.
Yes.
Yes, there are two schools of thought. This one school of thought says it will be beneficial to humans. Another school of thought says it will be apocalyptic. But I beg to stand on the divide to say, it will, for me, that innovation would portend great development for
human beings. What do you think it's going to do for us, really?
I think it's going to
that we don't have already.
I think it's going to create a society that is seamless, very connected. We'll have more innovative products coming in, an easier life. So things that we couldn't really achieve by ourselves, things like you can hear about artificial intelligence beating master chess players.
Yeah, right.
So it makes life seamless.
But wait,
we'll have better products, better robots to.
Is there anything in this for the villager somewhere in Niger State who's is a yam farmer? All he does is plants his yam. He waits for 9 months. He tends it. He carries it to Lapai market, where that's the biggest.
Market over there.
Paiko? I think it's Paiko, where they have the biggest yam market in Africa. And he sells, and he goes back to his village. What's in it for him?
Yes, it's right now. A lot of people in agriculture are already using AI. There are startups that are already helping the villagers, those people, to get their products out of Nigeria. They have been able to get standard organization appendage for it. Their products from Niger is already going abroad because they have used artificial intelligence, used technology, used innovation to ensure that you have better yield.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, so it's better irrigation.
So it's a potential.
Yes.
However, a lot will also depend on us. For example, on our government, on the way we use our resources, on even the vision, the ability to have a vision for where those kind of things can go. Otherwise, don't you think that we can be left behind by the rest of the world?
I feel we are even left behind at the moment.
Already?
Yes, we are left behind because if we even look at the in-depth, that's the National Policy on Digital Economy, it speaks very little on artificial intelligence. Yes, we have a policy deficit right now, but there is an institution that is handling that, but I don't see them really doing much. I think we have the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. Yes, we do. That's by institutional capacity, they are there. By institution, they are there. But there is no policy at the moment. I think they are trying to come up with a policy. But the problem is that these institutions are not even utilizing AI on their own.
Exactly.
There is no indigenous input into them. So that's the problem. It goes beyond policy implementation. Oh, you have a policy on it. How have you been able to integrate the views of stakeholders? Right now, we are talking about ChatGPT. I don't see Nigeria in the scheme of things.
Wait, we're going to talk about ChatGPT, yes, which is a very interesting phenomenon, yes, which I think viewers will really like to learn about that. But let's track back a bit because, you know, I'm surprised to learn that we have something called the National Center
for Artificial Intelligence.
Perhaps under Ministry of...
it's under NIDA.
It's under NIDA.
Yes.
Okay, artificial intelligence and what? And robotics.
And robotics, yes.
And now, but is it going to be enough that, you know, it's just all about having another parastatal, you know, having a big office somewhere, buying cars for the big men that are there. and many times those institutions end up even slowing the progress.
True.
And again, perhaps more importantly, the fact that this phenomenon, the phenomena rather, they are evolving whether or not those institutions are there, and much faster than those institutions could ever imagine. Sure. And is it not the case that an average Nigerian can actually get on all of these platforms and do whatever it is? My fear is that at the end of the day, we're all going to be gravitating towards Silicon Valley or wherever the big guys are there, sure, you know, and you know who their interest is to be able to have a presence in everybody's life.
Yes.
7.5 billion people in the world. They want to make sure they impact you, and in impacting you, they are taking a bit of money from your pocket. So, what kind of policy should we be having, really, to, or you know, is it, or should it be a private sector thing, the driven thing?
I think it's all inclusive. I think right now the major issue is that these institutions, they are not framed with the problem in mind, the indigenous problem, the localized problem we have. You know, most times I feel they just come up with all these policies, these institutions, because, oh, this is a trending issue. But when you interact with them, they are not telling us how their institution will be able to solve our local problems.
Yeah.
It's not just having technology or innovation, because yes, innovation is the conduit that builds national economies globally. It's not just having these institutions. How are we building up our local tech space? What is the support? Most times, you see policies done by the federal government through these institutions opened up just for collecting tax.
Exactly.
But not building the capacity of the local entrepreneur, not building the capacity of a startup person that is trying to innovate to build better products for the Nigerian public. You now find out that we are multiple taxed and we can't even really get our technology out. Now, let's take, for example, the Ministry of Information and Technology. How many technology is indigenously used, that they are using that is made by indigenous startup founders? Even if you go to the website of the National Council for Robotics, when they are talking about tech companies, I am not seeing any tech company from Nigeria on the website. But you will see Microsoft, you will see IBM, you will see the others. So I feel they are just trying to be in the trend game.
You're right.
Yes,
That's
they are not solving local problems.
Or at least developing something local and actually maybe start up, you know, and actually ensuring that those initiatives are going somewhere, they get somewhere and achieve some certain result.
Yes,
you know,
there have to be stakeholder integration right now. I hear that they're trying to come up with a policy on artificial intelligence, and I feel that they should really do more sensitization.
Now, let me track back a little bit now to define to the audience, to viewers, that in my own layman's word, artificial intelligence is, the idea that something that is not a human being can begin to be intelligent like a human being. Call it a robot, call it a machine, call it an app, that's not a human being can begin to behave like a human being. Machine learning is the idea that you can impute in that same machine or robot or whatever it is, an ability to be able to learn on its own. Apart from what you impute inside it, it can also search and all of that, So those things, AI and ML are very, very momentous in this occasion. And I think they mark this departure from the old or the third industrial revolution, which is the IT, into a new era where, but are you sure this is not leading to hell?
No.
Remember that, I think when we were speaking earlier, and I said, look, all the depiction of the future in Hollywood, okay? All of the movies I've seen that talks about the future talks about a time when people are lonely.
Yes.
Human beings are finished in the world. Something has happened and cleared everybody away. There's some machines that have taken over. They're pursuing everybody to kill everybody. It talks about apocalypse.
Yes.
It talks about a meltdown. A time that when I watch those movies, and I don't like watching those movies, I must tell you, honestly, because my own concept of the future, my own concept of my own future is not like that.
It's more human based.
There are more human beings in my future and all of that stuff, But each time I'm afraid, and I'm like, look, I don't really want to be around then. I pity those who will be around in those ages. Are you sure this is not where all of this is heading? I
would like to talk about, I read something somewhere. I said, if Abraham Lincoln is going to be in our generation right now, he will feel all of this is magic.
Shocked.
Yes. So I feel hypothetically, it's not going to be that way. It's not going to be apocalyptic. I feel we are not in a utopia, so it's not a perfect world. So AI, technological innovation, offers both a gift and a curse. In as much as we are finding innovative ways to solve our problems, it also have its biases, have its problems that could encumber human beings. Like right now, AI is already causing displacement of jobs.
Exactly.
And it's also causing new jobs.
Thing. Oh, no, wait. But for you to be able to get on these new jobs, you have to have some sort of tech, those skills, which is not easily available.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe it's easily available. Maybe you could train yourself on YouTube or whatever. But
right now, ChatGPT also writes lines of code.
Exactly.
Yesterday I told it to write a line of code for me.
And it did,
yes,
and it got it correct.
Yes, I said, write a line of code whereby I could tell my wife I love you every 3 a.m. Yes,
3 a.m.
Yes, it did that.
So that code is going to do what? It's going to send your wife a text at 3 a.m.
Yes, while I put it on the framework.
You know what? All of these.
So that means
you people are now lazy.
No.
This ordinary sweet lollipop that children, they have now devised one that has button, because the new children of this day, they are so tired and so lazy, they can't even put sweet in their mouth and lick it anymore. They need a machine to help them to lick the sweet, So, I don't know. I'm not really for that angle, really. But you know what? Let's take a break and pay some bills, and then we'll continue with the conversation. Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back, viewers. And we've been discussing the very interesting contemporary concepts of artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and how they are beginning to define the world in ways that we erstwhile could not imagine. And with me still is Mr. Odudu Otu. So you were on a line of thought before we went on a break, about where all of this is heading, and I think you still need to assure Nigerians that we're putting you on the spot right now.
Yes.
You are the representative of all of those robotics people in Nigeria.
Well, humbly, yes.
So how can you assure us that this is not taking us to where we don't want to be?
I think the first assurance is that Nigeria is already backward on things like this, meaning we have a lot to do to catch up.
Okay.
So that needs a lot of...
But can it not be deployed in sinister ways?
It could be.
Against maybe a laggard country, somebody just wants to extract something, looking at us saying, these Nigerians, they seem not to be serious about some of these things, so why can we not take advantage of them? Can that happen while we're still trying to get our act together?
Like I said, it's a gift and a curse. Right now, even AI has privacy issues. There are privacy issues.
What does that mean?
Meaning you can be spied on.
Oh.
Yes, because it's data, it's big data.
Yeah.
It's coded language. So someone can write another line of code to track. So it is both the gift and the curse. While artificial intelligence and technological innovation makes life seamless, it also comes with its own baggages.
So someone can write a code to track you?
Yes, it's possible.
To track everything you do?
True.
Wow.
True.
In fact, there's this part I didn't talk about, the Internet of Things. So my own understanding, Internet of Things mean a scenario where everything is connected, okay? Like things are connected. So this camera connected to the TV, everybody is on the internet, everything is on the internet.
Yes.
Your phone is on the internet, your car is on the internet, your fridge is on the internet. So this is what powers these smart homes that people live in. As you're coming, it knows it's you, recognizes you, the door opens for you. As you walk into your sitting room, your AC comes on, your channel on the TV.
Life is easy.
And then they now talk about Internet of everything.
Yes.
That everything, including maybe the soil, who knows? And certainly human beings will now be on the internet. I mean, so our body will be connected to the internet.
Yes, cybernetics.
Well, where are you guys taking us to once more?
It's still on
the
road to the age of
singularity.
singularity. Yes.
Now, I must say,
technology is meant to make life easier.
Yeah.
And with every generation that passes, they have different inclinations to how they want to live their lives. Previous generations were proud to be industrialists. Oh, let's go to the farm, let's do this. This generation and the futuristic generation wants things easier. So,
are you sure? But because listen, we have a problem right now where a lot of people are resisting Emefiele's attempt to take us all cashless. In fact, someone made a joke today and said even guys that said they were trading cryptocurrencies are complaining about cashless, in Nigeria. Meanwhile, you're supposed to be trading cryptocurrency, which is totally digital and all of that, So, are you sure that which generation and are we not going to be leaving too many people out of this in a place like Nigeria? Maybe a few tech, privileged young people like the idea, but is it not going to be to the exclusion of a lot more people who don't even know the little that I know? I
feel the exclusion is coming from the government that is supposed to set the pace. Because, like I said earlier, technological innovation is the conduit for national development. And great economies around the world, if you check, are those economies that have built their framework on innovation. Nigeria is a back. We still want to do these things analog. Yeah. Yes, in the case of Emefiele, there has to be balanced integration of both the physical cash and they have not done that because we don't have the localized capacity to handle all the needs that can make us to go fully cashless. Yeah. So it's supposed to be a process, and that's where the National Center for Artificial Intelligence comes in, ensuring that in our schools we have STEM lessons being taught, people code, So if it goes wrong, we can build on the on broadband penetration. I think we have achieved we have achieved roughly, okay, it's still developing, 70% broadband penetration. We can leverage on that. So there is still hope that Nigeria can catch up and we won't be totally left behind.
Let's talk about ChatGPT.
Yay, that's the trending topic right now.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, and from my understanding of ChatGPT, it's supposed to be a robot that you
Yes.
can ask any question and it can write an essay for you. People are now writing columns.
True.
You know, just send some sort of inquiry and it will write a lot of things about anything under the sun. You know, schools, universities, even secondary schools, primary schools are trying to ban it in some places to say that, you know, people don't want to do their homework anymore. It can write a whole thesis for you. It can write a whole dissertation for you if you want. It gets even crazier. They can write codes for you as well. Meaning that even coders, all of a sudden, are finding that they too have joined the rest of us in that vulnerable, you know, the vulnerability of our profession, that this computer is going to take you out. What do you think about ChatGPT, and how does it relate with Nigeria, for example?
Yes, yes. ChatGPT, first of all, is a natural language. Is okay, let me even tell you what it is. It's generative, pre-trained transformer. Meaningless words. But what does it mean? It is a large language model that is meant to simulate human conversations.
Well, you know,
Yes.
break it down. Large language model.
Yes.
Say it in ways that the
Okay.
common man can understand.
ChatGPT is used, you can use it to talk to yourself. You can chat with it. You can speak to it. You can tell it to do stuff. It builds on the earlier model of Instruct GPT, which is the technology used in Siri, where you can instruct it, oh, Siri, put on my light. Switch on my light. So it builds on that.
It has to do with, okay, maybe text recognition.
Yes.
You know, it's able to understand language and,
Yes.
and understand
It has been
instruction.
engineered to be able to answer your questions.
Maybe,
and-
can you speak to it?
No, this one is a chatbot.
Okay, just a chatbot.
Yes.
Okay.
The ones you can speak to is the Instruct GPT, like
Yeah.
Siri and the rest, the house assistant and all of that. But this is a chatbot, which has diverse uses. You can use it to automate your business. You can use it in the health sector to gather big data and make it simple for data analysts to actually
Interrogate data.
Yes.
and
You can also use it in education. It's
data.
good for education. Like even when I was using ChatGPT on my own, as it is giving me the information, I'm reading it and I'm understanding it. It aids in education for a personalized educational experience.
Well, how do you prevent students from, you know, doing their homework with ChatGPT without making any effort, writing their thesis, their projects with ChatGPT, now that you can just tell it to research anything and it's going to bring out good stuff for you?
You can't just interact with ChatGPT without interacting with it. That interaction is a learning process.
Yeah, I know, but now you're writing a very good project and submitting to your professor, and you're going to get a certain mark from it, but you didn't make any effort. All you did was just type a chart and say, tell me about, let's say, for example, you want to write about a project about Nigerian economy, productivity, or
Yes.
whatever, and you just type that in and boom, you can get a 40-page document
True,
on that.
true.
How do you stop that? That's the fear in some places.
The good thing about it is that it's a chatbot. You can't feed it too many information at once.
Oh, okay, that's
Meaning
one.
you chat, you ask it this question, it answers you. You ask it another question, it answers you. So that is
Okay,
an
so you have to
interactive
ask several
process.
questions.
That interactive process aids learning. There is no way you wouldn't read.
What it has written.
Yes.
But you're not really making the effort.
So psychologically, it's meant to make your life easy. So it's an easier way of learning. And to also allay fears, someone else has also coded something, another application that can actually detect essays that have been written through ChatGPT. So innovation breeds further innovation.
Are we not then getting into that John McAfee scenario where guys who write codes for viruses, okay, are also the same guys who bring the antivirus, so that at the end of the day we find ourselves having to be their permanent customer, going back to them So somebody has written ChatGPT, which can do a lot of things, and
Yes.
if you like, call it plagiarism, I don't know, whatever. But another person is writing a code that can detect whether you have got your information from ChatGPT to submit.
Yeah, we won't get to that because ChatGPT is built on two foundations: supervised learning, meaning the data that has already been engineered into it.
Yeah.
Then reinforcement learning. The learning, it learns from human feedback all over the world. So it is learning on its own. It is independent in its thoughts. So it's in fact, there is another, they say Google is building a deep mind. It's called Sparrow. It's not yet out. That covers up all the biases and the limitations of so it's going to be a very crazy world.
I'm sorry, I feel lost as a Nigerian.
Yes.
So I'll give you 2 minutes, as we round up, because my producer has already told me to round up that, 2 minutes to advise Nigeria if you had access to the president and the minister and the DG of NITA and whoever else need to know about this, including the Minister for Science and Technology, including even the Minister for the Economy, who should be thinking about, the economy, even security, internal affairs. If you had all of this, if you had to go to the FEC to make a presentation to tell them the urgency of now, what should we be doing as a people, as a country, and as Africa?
Yes, that's a very important question. I say that artificial intelligence should be on the top burner of our government plans.
Wow.
Yes, because even in the area of defense, futurist security, it is built on artificial intelligence. So our territorial integrity, our sovereignty is in threat if we do not innovate with the futurist technology.
If we don't move at this speed,
that
means we are even more vulnerable than ever before.
More vulnerable than ever before. Because artificial intelligence cuts across diverse aspects of our national
And I would also
life,
suggest, for example, that the government should begin to talk to very young Nigerians, wherever they may be, who are still patriotic, to help us to fashion solutions so that we don't have to depend on buying everything from abroad. For example, AI would help. For example, these terrorist wars that we have, people come into Nigeria, and they go to a place like Chibok, you load 300 girls, children, and then you just drive away. As you are coming, you go to Dapchi, you come in several trucks or several motorcycles. In fact, some places, they drive 200 motorcycles, load people, and walk away. AI can detect that. AI using a drone can take those guys out.
Sure.
So I can begin to think about several solutions that it can give us in agriculture, in transportation, and all of that stuff. But I think what you have said thus far is that it gets even more critical. I'm sorry, we cannot take more than this today. There needs to be a chapter 2 to this discussion. Where
I'll look forward to that.
Explain. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, sir.
So we've been discussing with Mr. Odudu too, and well, the scenario looks a bit scary. We're getting to that point where, some of those Hollywood movies, some of them that depict that, there's going to come a time when when the government can meet you in your dreams and instruct you, or even, give you whatever to do, like that. Anyhow, it's been great speaking to Mr. Otu, and thank you very much for viewing this program today. See you next week.